Hello and welcome to the socially distanced summer wine club at Abel Cole. My name is Honey. I am a sommelier and I am the wine guru for Abel Cole. I work exclusively with organic wines, and I'm a fervent believer that organic wines are better for the environment, for Mother Nature, better for our health. Yes, I am talking about the post-wine session headache, but also for our taste buds. Organic wine that's made well just tastes the best. We have 3 amazing wines from the south of France to taste through today. I'm sure I'm not the only one that wishes that I was in France right now, but what I love about wine is it has the ability to transport us to a different place. So for the purposes of this tasting, please consider this your liquid teleporter. Cheers. But before we begin, I'm going to introduce you to a few techniques on how to prepare wine and how to assess it. I think they call them hacks these days. Number 1, wine serving temperature. Sparkling wine, you want that really, really cold. Your Proseccos, your Cavas, even your Champagnes. If you have the nerve to do it, move your wine from the fridge to the freezer 30 minutes before you want to drink it. If you don't have the nerve, keep it in the fridge or whack it in an ice bucket. White wine, everything is personal preference, but what I would say, a light zesty white wine, of course, leave it in the fridge for as long as you want. Wines that are a bit fancier, maybe they've got a little bit more to offer by way of texture, by way of flavour. Keep them in the fridge, but then 20 to 30 minutes before you want to drink them, just bring them out. That allows all the aroma compounds to really come out and do their thing, and you get more out of the experience. Same with rosé. With light red wines, Pinot Noir, Gamay, these are just a little bit better when they're a little bit colder. So keep them at room temperature 20 to 30 minutes before you want to drink them, put them in the fridge. Red wine, all wine professionals hate room temperature red wines. Just don't do it, it's gross. All wine should be just a tiny bit chilled. Just 10 minutes before you want to drink the red wine, pop it in the fridge. It just makes it a little bit tighter, a little bit brighter, and just the wine just has more to offer. The second hack, just a quick one on the cloudy wines. When you're a wine student, which I once was, you are taught that a hazy wine is a bad wine. However, there are a lot of wines on the market these days that are hazy. Hazy wine, a cloudy wine, is a sign that the wine hasn't been processed as much. I like my food unprocessed, I like my wine unprocessed. It's as simple as that. Most of us would choose a cloudy apple juice over a still apple juice because we understand it has more nutrients, it has more flavour. Ditto wine. Hack number 3, how to tell if your wine is corked. Of course, it can be a complicated subject, but there are 2 fail-safe ways of knowing if your wine is corked at a very basic level. 1, the smell. You're smelling your wine, it doesn't smell quite right. It smells damp, maybe like a wet woodland. There's no fruit. It smells a bit, it's just a bit muggy. Then you taste your wine. Run the air over your tongue a little bit. Do not try this on a first date, it seldom works. You've tasted the wine. Again, where's the fruit? There's no fruit. It tastes maybe has a tang to it, and then it just finishes. These are 2 signs that your wine could be corked. Wine number 1. Can we start with rosé? It is summer, right? This rosé is delicious. It is made in the south of France, in the Rhone, sort of bordering on Provence, by a gentleman called Fabrice. He completed his first vintage at the age of 9. Well done, you, Fabrice. He now owns vineyards all over Rhone, all over Provence, and this particular rosé is made with 2 grapes. One Grenache, the other is called Caladoc. Now Caladoc is a sort of a relative of Grenache. It's got a touch more spice. It's got some really nice herbal notes that I think work really, really well in this blend. So we'll taste our wine. I hope you're tasting yours. Give it a sniff. Oh, that's a really lovely wine. It's heaving with wild strawberries, some of those really nice herbal notes that I was talking about, some of those Garrigue herbs that you get in the south of France, some oregano, maybe some thyme, maybe some rosemary. Really, really lovely. Give it a taste. Give it another one of your swills. This just opens up so many more of the aromatics. More of those wild strawberries. It's got a really nice steely acidity that I really, really like. And yeah, a touch more of those herbal notes. This is just a lovely, lovely, lovely rosé. Well done, Fabrice and family. Our second wine is a Chardonnay. It's made in the Languedoc by Jean-Paul Mas. Jean-Paul, actually he completed his first vintage at the age of 3, move over Fabrice, and he's been making wine ever since in the Languedoc. He has hundreds of hectares, he works with 40 varieties, he works with all of his varieties in completely different ways. I don't know how he has time to sleep, but I'm a huge fan of his work, and mostly because these are all organic vines. It's absolutely amazing. So this is one of his Chardonnays. We're in the south of France now, so we are expecting a bit more texture. It's a nice warm climate, brings out a sort of textural note in the wines that are made in that region. So we're going to give our wine a smell. Another important thing about this wine, Jean-Paul in this instance has chosen not to add any sulfur. Quite a big issue in the sense that it's a little bit controversial, but sulfur is a preservative. It's been used for thousands of years in winemaking, but a lot of the more natural winemakers who don't like as many processes think that adding too much sulfur or adding any sulfur at all actually sort of takes away from the character of the wine. So here we have a completely sulfur-free Chardonnay, which is fairly rare, but we're seeing it a bit more these days. Gonna give the wine a smell. Already you can tell, you know, this is from a warm region. We've got sort of flavors and aromas of exotic fruits, some stone fruits, sort of waxy lemon notes going on. We're gonna taste the wine. More of those exotic fruits. This is lovely, but yeah, that texture is pretty big for a white wine. It's absolutely delicious. Definitely take this out of the fridge 20 to 30 minutes before you want to drink it. It has so much more to give. And food pairing wise, I'm in a cheese mood. We're gonna do a sort of brie, a soft creamy cheese, I reckon. All right, third wine is a Pinot Noir from the Loire Valley. I cannot sing the praises of the Loire Valley enough. Little bit cooler climate than the other wines that we've tried. It's further to the north. It's an absolutely huge region that sort of starts at the Atlantic and goes thousands of miles inland. So there are a lot of different terroirs. This is a Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir is not very common in the Loire Valley, which makes me quite excited because I like trying rarities. It's made by a gentleman called Frederick. I don't know when he did his first vintage, but I will ask him when I see him. Another one without sulfur, and another note on no sulfur wines. Sometimes they can be a little bit more, let's say, rustic, maybe a little bit more raw in flavor. But again, let's remember that the winemaker has made this decision because he thinks that he's being sort of more true to the character of the wine. So let's give it a go. Lovely deep colour for a Pinot. Lovely sort of purple hues around the side. Really, really delicious. Okay, this is beautifully pure on the nose. Red currants, maybe some sort of darker currants, black currants in there as well. It does smell maybe a little bit more raw, but actually it's got loads of fruit. It's really, really nice. It just smells really pure and really, let's say, delicious. On the palate, oh, it's actually really, really smooth. It's really, really vivid fruits. Again, red currants, some spice. Tastes just lovely and wild, but it does have this really, really smooth finish. Absolutely delicious. If we're sticking with cheese, I'm gonna have some hard cheese, maybe some Comté, some salted Comté, and some really nice crackers. Cheers. Thank you so much for joining me in our socially distanced wine club. I hope you've enjoyed the wines as much as I have. I hope you have people to share them with and not be tasting wine alone like I am. Socially distanced, of course. Please share any photos and videos with us on Abel Cole Instagram and Facebook, and hope to see you again soon. Santé.